Good morning from Area 51 Raceway, and I'm here to show you how I kind of put my body mounts. And what I do is I use a small jeweler's board. This is a small jeweler's soldering board. You get them from Amazon. It's a lot smaller than the ones that I usually use to build chassis. And what I do is I buy these pins, and there are nails. If you could get the nails the same hole size, you could use finishing nails. But I get the little pins, and what I do is I set the body on there and tuck it in there kind of so it doesn't move back and forth. And what I do is I get the pieces of plastic strut I'm going to use, and I position them where I want them to be, and then kind of pin them, and then kind of tuck them up against the body like that one here. I gotta push in a little more like that, and it kind of holds it in place. So you could kind of, what you could do is add some super glue right in here, just a little bit, because you don't want to put a lot of it because it'll run underneath it, and then you'll kind of like possibly stick it to the ceramic, so you don't want to do that. But just a little bit just to coat it, to get it to sit where you want it to sit. And again, see how that popped up? You just push it down and kind of manipulate it around. I'll loosen it up a little because I got the pins kind of tight right there. And then I'll let it sit for like 15-20 minutes and look at it. If it looks good, and what I'll do is I'll epoxy it, and then pretty much that will be it for, setting them in there. And that's how I usually put the body mounts on, like, on the car. And it just kind of helps aid you doing stuff like so. But you could always hold it down and then put the glue and hold it that way. Since this body's contoured like this, it's a little tough because it's trying to go up on the ridge here, on the contoured part. If you have a flat chassis, it's a little bit easier. I think this is 80 thousandths plastic strut. You could use a lot thicker if you want. They make some thicker ones. It's all up to you. I think 80 to me is about the minimum I would go. If you go thinner, I don't know if it may work. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I don't know how flexible it'll be, and I don't want it to flex too much. I want a good solid piece. But you can even put a drop of glue here and a drop of glue over there to see, where it's at, and pretty much that's how I mount it. And then I'll epoxy it, and obviously drill holes in the chassis there, and so when the holes are drilled there, you put this on top and position it, and then you can kind of like circle where you want, use a marker from underneath the chassis where you want this to position, and then you take this out after you've done epoxying it and use that 15-minute epoxy, which sets really quick, and do that and let it set. I would let the epoxy set for an hour. It depends how much you mix into it. And it'll be hard as nails. That thing won't move. And then you could just set your body on there. And then that way you could put it on the car, see how it looks before you paint it, and mess around with it, and do your final painting, and you'll have your mounting holes already ready to go. And you could do your interior if you're going to use the plastic interior or the tray interior. It's up to you. That's just how I do it. I'm sure other people have different methods, and some are probably better than what I'm doing, but this is just kind of like an idea how I want it, right now. I think it sits low enough. Now if you were to want to set it on the chassis, you could, which I've done, and then use popsicle sticks to either raise it if it's too low, or raise the chassis, or however you want to do it. But since this has got the Nerf bars, it's a little bit tougher, so I'm just going to set it to where I could get it at right now because it's a modified car. But on other cars, you could do your ride height. If it's, like a land barge type, that's a little bit easier because those you could, move up and down more because you don't have Nerf bars like the mods do. So it's relative how you do it and how you set the body. It's totally up to you. You could shim it up with popsicle sticks. You could shim the chassis up with popsicles. You could do however you want to do it, but for this modified, this is how I'm doing it right now, is using this jeweler's boards and pins just to keep it in place. So when you're in there trying to put glue, it's not going to move around as much, and it just makes it easier. So that's it from Area 51 Raceway. I just wanted to share how I do the little mod mounting stuff. It's just my way. If you have a better way, please let me know, because I'm always up for everybody's ideas on how they do stuff, because not everybody is the same, and there's always a better mousetrap, as I always say. That's it from Area 51 Racing. You have fun racing.